Hi guys, this is Heather with Whippoorwill Creations and welcome back. This is step 1B. We're going to do a framework around our stones now. I got these all done. I hand twisted this wire, so you can see it's kind of loose. Much looser than if I used the drill. However, I came up with this really cool idea. I made a loop in the end and I just stuck my finger in it and then I just kept twisting it around and around and around till my finger hurt. But I got it and I got a big long piece. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now my framework. You can hammer it or not. You can get it to look like it's hammered or flattened. Let's just say flattened, not hammered. If you were to take 2 wires. And I'll show you how to do that eventually, but you'll have to just trust me. I drew the framework around my stones, what I thought was pleasing. I came up with this. I thought that was a pretty cool idea, putting a little triangle at the bottom. I'll have to fudge with it a little bit. It's a little cockeyed here, but that's okay. Organic. Anyway, I came up with these ideas. This one's an oval. This one's more of a Christmas tree light. And this one is just a plain simple circle. I have these little pot of sterling silver beads, 4mm beads, and I just kind of tried to center it around it, and I drew my circle. So, where's my 20 gauge wire? Well, I just had it a second ago. Here it is. It fell in the drawer. You could use 18 gauge wire if you wanted to. I'm just going to use, let's say, let's give ourselves 15 inches. I don't know. It's going to depend on the size of your stone. So I'm just going to do this. In fact, now that I've cut my 20 gauge, I'm thinking 18 might be better. Let's do the round one, because it'll be easier for me and quicker. So I'm just going to lay this like this, wrap it around. Wrap it around a little extra. Try to get it to... And you see what I'm doing here? I'll push this up. I'll get these stones out of the way, so it's not so cluttered. Okay, I got this. And it doesn't matter if it's not on the line. I just want to make sure that it's about perfect to that circle drawing. Now I'm going to take you can take needle nose pliers or flat nose pliers, whatever. Excuse me. I'm going to come in right to that point, give myself enough, kind of like enough room for the wire to go. And I'm pinching it, and now I'm going to bend that up. Whoop. It got away from me. Oh, I marred it. That's okay. I have files. I can fix that. So now what I'm doing is I'm just pinching this. And now I'm pinching this. So I can get a good angle on my wire. So now I'll come down I'll try to do a better job on the other side. I'll get that lined up. Right there. Sorry, guys, I'm just playing with that other side. I didn't like it like that. Okay, so now I got this. My hand's in the way, so I'm going to try to move. I got get my stuff in line with the circle. Okay, you see? Can you see? Oh, slipped. All right. Can you see how I'm in my shadow? Can you see right here where the line is? That's where I drew my wire where I want it to bend. And my pliers are just about a wire's width away from that line so that I can have room for the wire. Wire. All right. Does that look okay? Yeah. So now I'm going to press on this. And I'm going to press on this. Okay. And for the sake of time on the video, you just do the same thing with 2 wires. You just take another piece of wire, wrap it around, you know, get that long piece, wrap it around and bend it so that they're laying flat on a plane, and they'll be right next to each other. You can do that. I don't have to show you how to do that. So there you've got that. You do that with every shape that you've got, whatever you do. If you're not going to hammer, if you don't have a hammer. Let's talk about hammers and bench blocks. Excuse me. I have a hammer. It's a planishing hammer, Fritz. It needs to be nice and smooth if you're going to flatten something without marring it. This is the ball peen part, and this is the part that you're going to use to flatten. And I have a bench block. And oh, sorry, I'm bumping it's in a drawer here. It's kind of rusty. This was probably $50. I tried buying the cheap one from Joann's that looks just like a little anvil. I think I paid maybe $20 for it, and it marred. One hit and it was done for. So then every time I happened to hammer something in that spot, my metal was ruined. So if you're going to invest, buy a good bench block. This is steel. This is just a piece of rubber that it sits on to kind of like absorb the sound. If you don't have the money, or you don't think you're going to do any hammering, don't buy it. And it's not a necessary tool. It's just something that I wanted to get into, and I felt that it was necessary to have one in a good quality. So tools, pliers, you can buy those for $10, $5 at Walmart, and they'll last you as long as you take care of them. Hammering, get a good bench block. That's just my advice, my suggestion. We'll set that aside for now. This is a rawhide mallet. You can do You can pound on your metal. It will flatten the backside of the wire eventually, but this just is for work hardening, and you're just tapping. Can you? I have the handle at the back. My hand is at the back of the handle so that you can get the full creme effect. Okay? Let the hammer do the work for you. And I don't, I try not to bend my wrist. I bend at the elbow. This Fritz hammer. You can make the metal flow in any way you want. You can just tap up and down. Again, these Fritz hammers are great. But you don't have to spend money on them. I'm not telling you, and I'm not getting a kickback from Fritz if anybody buys any. I just like this hammer. I like the feel of it. This is a lightweight one. But it does the job for what I'm doing, for whenever I'm doing wire hammering. But anyways, if you were to, let's just do it really quick. Let's say you've got your piece, you got your hammer, you got your bench block, you want to flatten it. And like I said, I think now that I've cut my 20 gauge wire, I think I should have done 18. If you were to just hold this like this and hammer, it will spread out because metal has to go somewhere. And you don't want that. So you want to hold this flat like this. And now I'm just going to go up and down. And I'm just moving along the wire. I'm just up and down. And you guys are going to just like, that's boring. And now I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to tap on the same area where I was. I'm just going up and down. That's all I'm doing. Now, I'm going to show you on a piece of bigger, thicker wire. Here's some 16 gauge. This is just a freebie, kind of like, well, it's all freebie. This is just a little tip. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. Let's say you want to do, and there are other videos that are probably much better out there, but I'm just going to tell you something that I've never heard them say, at least I've never heard anyone say it. And when you're hammering, if you want to bring out the wire this way, flatten it, you're going to create, I'm going to see if I can show you this. When you hammer, you're going to come down and pull like a J, backwards J. Down, pull, down, pull, down, pull. Slow motion, down, pull, down, pull. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to flatten it first a little bit. Okay. See how that's flattened a little bit? Now I'm going to flip it over because it's angling off. Because that's just the natural habit. That's just the way my hand works. Yeah. I've tried everything. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's just a... Excuse me. I don't like winter. It's just the natural way, whatever the hammer comes down and hits it. So now I'm going to start doing the J. And I'm going to pull that out. I'm pulling back with my elbow. Pulling it. See? Made a nice, and if you had a 14 gauge or a 12 gauge, you could make that even bigger. Poke a little hole in it, put a jump ring on it, that kind of thing. But anyways, a hammer and bench block is a good investment. I'm not going to lie. But, like I said, if you don't have the money, just don't do it. There are other ways to get around it that makes it look like that gives you the appearance of it being flat. So let me get this out of the way. I won't put it in the drawer because it'll bump the camera again. But let me just go ahead. I'll cut a couple pieces of wire since we're only at almost 16 minutes. It'll just take me a couple minutes here. I'm just going to cut a pieces because the design, the wire is wrapped around the flattened wire, like a weaving wire is flattened around, wrapped around the flattened wire. Boy, that was difficult. Got some 28 gauge wire here. 28. Right there. You see? I'll just cut off a piece. Copper's cheap. And I'm just going to attach it to one wire so I don't have to worry about screwing it up or fighting with it just to keep a hold of it. And I'm going to, let's zoom in. Okay, I got my wires, and I'm just going to wrap around both. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? Oh, where are my pliers when I want them? Every few wraps, I always do this. It's called compressing. If you want a neat and tidy wrap, make it look very professional, always compress every few wraps. You could do this with 3 wires. And then you got, oh, even whiter look. I'm going to keep going here just for a minute. I'm going to wrap a few more. Compress. And let's say you got it, but it's getting bunchy, or it's, let's say you have 3 wires and it starts making a triangle because that you're compressing, you're pulling the wire too tight. I'm going to compress. And let's just say it, for instance. So I'm going to do it let me do it. Let me do it so you can see. You've probably already seen this in other videos, but I'm going to show you anyway. Okay. See that? Now I'm going to take my flat nose pliers. And say I don't like that, how that's round. I'm going to just go in and pinch, just a little pinch. Can you see the difference? I'm trying to look through the camera. I can see a difference when I'm looking at it, but is that a little better? I think I can. Can you see? it looks, when you pinch, like right there, going in, pinching, it looks much different. Can you tell? I hope you can tell. Anyway, that's it. That's it for step 1. So, get your 18 gauge wire or 16 gauge, whatever you want to use. It doesn't matter to me. Hammer if you have a hammer and bench block. If you don't, put 2 wires together and eventually, let me zoom out. Oh, I went wrong way. There we go. Get 2 wires, build your frame, and make sure that they are snug side by side. Okay? See you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.